Agenda item 3.02, SR&R. I call on Mr. Frisch for motion.
Thank you. I move that the school board adopt Regulation 2601.34P, Student Rights and Responsibilities, as detailed in the agenda item.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Cohen. Mr. Frisch, would you like to speak to your motion?
I would. Thank you, Madam Chair. Tonight we are voting on a new Student Rights and Responsibilities document which explains expectations for students, behavior, and adult responses designed to enhance school safety and create a fair, equitable, and supportive school environment. Like our school division, this document has been a work in progress when it comes to increasing equity and achieving our strategic objective of seeing every child by name and by need. In the face of alarming discipline disparities experienced by students of color and students with special needs, my veteran colleagues on the board can tell you about the work done in recent years to make the SR&R less biased and punitive and more focused on restorative justice. That spirit of progress continues in this revised document. Talk to any gender-expansive or transgender student and they will tell you about the difficulties they've encountered navigating school activities and facilities, or the pain they've experienced being repeatedly dead-named or misgendered by classmates and staff. For the first time ever, as an extension of the school board's non-discrimination policy, FCPS regulations, and Virginia Code, this document specifically identifies several rights of particular interest to gender-expansive and transgender students. Among them are the right to use facilities that align with their gender identity, the right to be called by their chosen name and pronoun, the right to non-disclosure of their gender identity or sexual orientation, and the right to receive supports that ensure equitable access to all school facilities and activities. Additionally, the document protects students from being intentionally outed or maliciously dead-named or misgendered, also a first. In recent months, school board meetings in neighboring counties have descended into chaos as extremists attempt to deny these students their very existence, attack their humanity, and object to their right to thrive in public school. In years past, former members of the school board have shared similar sentiments from this very dais. We still hear such comments during public hearings from time to time. To the gender-expansive and transgender students and their families who have witnessed these attacks on their simple human dignity, I am sorry. You deserve much, much better. Tonight's vote will not sweep away the pain and hurt you have experienced at the hands of careless peers or adults who should know better. But the changes we approve in this new Student Rights and Responsibilities document demonstrate our commitment to your success and safety in Fairfax County Public Schools. They are long overdue, and I am incredibly proud to offer this motion and to serve on a school board that is ready to chart a new path. Thank you.
Ms. Cohen, would you like to speak to your second?
It's awfully hard to follow that. Very well said, Mr. Frisch. Every child deserves the opportunity to be successful, and this starts with feeling safe and supported. We have an obligation to protect all of our kids. This document is a start to making sure that that is a reality for all our students, so that every child who walks into the door of a Fairfax County public school knows that they belong. I am so happy to second this, and I will be even more excited to vote for it. Thank you.
Ms. McLaughlin, please go ahead.
Yes, in addition to expressing support for the heartfelt words of my colleagues who are making and seconding the motion, Dr. Brabrand, I do also want to once again call attention to you and your team, and especially Dr. Michelle Boyd. This has always been a passion of mine for now more than a decade, of how do we have SR&R that really does help students to learn to be their best selves, to learn what their responsibilities are, but also what their rights are. And at every step of the way, you have been a great partner on that. And I will be very grateful that with your legacy, we are a better school system because of it. But for Dr. Boyd, her incredible patience, it is hard to come into a brand new school system, and you just work tirelessly to engage with this entire board to hear our perspectives on how we hope to improve it. I know it was a substantial amount of your time at the office to dedicate that to understanding how important it is to all of us. And so I want to personally thank you as well. I look forward to each year as we continue to improve upon this document, but your dedication, your commitment, and your shared desire for us to get there, it shows here tonight. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Ms. Corbett-Sanders?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. And I, too, want to thank Dr. Boyd for her collaborative approach to this work. It's greatly appreciated. And I want to thank you, Mr. Frisch, for also talking about, we are always striving to be a more perfect or a better system. And the work that has gone into the student rights and responsibilities over the past few years has really reflected that continuum of always striving to do more to ensure that our students feel safe and secure in our schools. But I wanted to bring attention today to a fundamental shift in our approach to the student rights and responsibilities. And this is where, in the past, it was always a document that people referred to for discipline, more from a legalistic approach. And there's a shift this year to one that talks about rights. And when you talk about rights, you talk about human dignity. And that you start with the dignity of the individual student and what rights they have to experience a safe, secure, and nurturing environment. And then you talk about what are the responsibilities associated with the freedoms and the rights that are provided to or given to our students in our schools. And I see this as a fundamental shift, Dr. Boyd, and I really appreciate you working with us to achieve that shift. And so with that, I am very happy to support this and to encourage that not only in our schools, but in our society, encouraging students and our community members to understand what those rights are, but associated with rights are responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other school board members? Ms. Sternak-Kofax?
Yes, thank you. And I am happy to follow Ms. Corbett-Sanders. As you noted, this is a continuum. This is a continuation of efforts that began a while back and will continue to grow. I do want to point out, yesterday when we talked about examples of hate speech, I didn't feel like it was inclusive enough. And so I want to thank Dr. Boyd for working late into the evening with many of us to ensure that under the regulation on page 19, there is now a complete listing of what hate speech is, and that includes malicious dead naming and malicious misgendering, along with others. So I want to, I just want people to understand that the intent, talking about it yesterday, was less of a compression and more of an expansion. So thank you for all your work, my colleagues, staff. It's extremely important that we continue this work, and as we grow and listen, we are listening to our students, we are listening to our teachers, we are listening to the community. So thank you all for being here tonight, talking to us, and we will continue to work and grow this document together.
Thank you, Ms. Sternak-Kofax, and I'll just tell my colleagues, if you wish to speak, please put your hand up because the lights are not working. So, okay. Go ahead, Mr. Chaudhary.
First off, I want to give a huge thank you to all of our incredible students who took the time to come out and speak to us tonight. It is hard being your true self and saying that not just in front of friends and family, but in front of your entire community, and showing our affirmation as a community toward inclusivity tonight is going to be a defining moment for us. You know, in 2015, when I was 11 years old, the Fairfax County School Board voted to ban discrimination against students on the basis of gender identity. 98% of the room in that meeting booed and jeered, and yet still, our board decided we are going to do right by our students. We are going to do what respects the dignity and the humanity of each and every child in this school system. So I just want to thank everyone for their work and division leadership, especially Dr. Boyd. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I will just offer, I know there has been tremendous work done on this document through the years. This year is no exception. So thank you to my colleagues for working so hard with staff to really get this right, and to Dr. Boyd, who I was texting late into the afternoon to get to see if she was ready, and she has worked tremendously hard on this. So thank you very much. And I see there are others who may want to speak now. Apologize. Okay, Ms. Somash. Oh, you too. Oh.
Thank you so much. Thank you to our staff and community for coming out, for having the courage to speak and sharing your thoughts with us. Over the course of the past several months, I've benefited from speaking directly to students and families about their thoughts and experiences with the student rights and responsibilities. I know students often joke, and I'm sure Pranav can relate, that this is the booklet that's given to kids every year. Who really reads it until they get in trouble? But emphasizing again the place that this has to ensure that our students have their rights upheld, that they have opportunities to ensure that they're included in our schools. And these conversations have have highlighted the importance of this document as one of the major ways that our division can convey the climate and the culture that we seek to facilitate in our schools. As such, I am proud to support these updates this evening, especially those that name and outline the rights that our students can expect while learning within the division. We must reject bullying, malicious dead naming, malicious misgendering. These aren't controversial issues, and these are basic demonstrations of an inclusive community and the community that we seek to build. I'm grateful that my colleagues supported the effort and that staff had back and forth with me over the course of many days to ensure that we elevate the equal opportunity component within our student rights and responsibilities booklet, and that our student rights be presented at the top so that, again, we affirm and reaffirm the culture that we seek to create, and that we fight for every child, no matter their background, in this county. I'm, of course, continuing to look at additional ways in the future that we can further modify the student rights and responsibilities so that we move finally towards a culture of restorative justice completely as we continue to do this over the years, that we provide care, that we invest in mental health supports as opposed to discipline, so that we catch up with ourselves in the 21st century in educating the whole child and every aspect of the child. So I'm pleased to be supporting this here today. I want to affirm and reaffirm that the bullying of our children is not a controversial issue, and that we can all come together to ensure that our county is a place where everybody belongs.
Dr. Anderson.
Oh, thank you so much. I just want to briefly say thank you very much to this is not on, to Dr. Boyd, and don't want to forget the rest of the staff because I know we put them through their paces. Mr. Foster, what's that? Deb Scott, thank you. And Mr. Falcone, I don't know if he's here, and possibly Helen Kennedy. I know we tortured you all and really stretched you to your limits, but I think we have a really good product here. I really want to highlight some of the things that are new here, which you have highlighted on the front page, so that parents can automatically go see what are the new things, just in case that they have, you know, a good basic understanding of what has happened in the past. I think that really helps to hone in their eyes into what the new changes are. So thank you for incorporating that. Similarly to Ms. Denmark Colfax, I do want to say thank you. While I know there was some concern regarding some of the statements that I know I made, and also Ms. Denmark Colfax's regarding what was on page 61, I believe, It's not to erase it, but it's to make sure that it was more appropriately listed. So I appreciate the help and kind of finding a space where that could live. So thank you again, Dr. Boyd, for being receptive. I think many of us sent you the very same idea, and it showed up here. And thank you. And because we do need to do this for our students, because that's the least that we can do so that our kids can feel protected. So thank you all.
Ms. Sizemore-Heiser.
Just briefly, I'm in agreement with what many people have said tonight, but I think this is really important just to flag. One, that our SR&R has really moved to understanding that we're educating students, and that's educating students to be productive citizens. We're not here to punish students. We're here to educate them and give them a chance to be youth and teach them how to be in the world. We're not here to punish. And so I really appreciate the focus on restorative justice, the focus on learning, the focus away from punitive and on support, and I especially end on understanding behavior and what behavior is trying to communicate. But I especially appreciate the additions of ensuring that all of our students, especially our trans students, our gender-expansive, non-binary, LGBTQ students, and all of our students are equally seen as human, valued, belonging. This is a school for everybody. And I am so glad for the work of my colleagues, for Dr. Boyd and their team for ensuring that our discipline procedures, our students' rights and responsibilities reflect the fact that everybody belongs here. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing that no other board members wish to speak, I will go ahead and...
I have my hand
Ms.
raised.
Marin, sorry. We didn't see you. We didn't see your hand here. Go ahead, Ms. Marin.
Voice from behind you. Yes, I know. I am so excited to have this document be approved. I'm so excited for our students to have us affirm publicly that we welcome you and you have your place here. I think putting into practice our regulation 2603 for FCPS's non-discriminatory policies to include gender identity and a lot of other protections just shows what we really feel for our students. And like was just said, it's not to be a punitive document overall. This document, I remember a year ago us poring over this, and with the transition to Dr. Boyd, thank you for all of your team's work. It's been a real pleasure to work through this process, and I'm really proud of this. I'm proud to use this as a parent in the coming year with my students as I try to address how they grow and their behaviors, and it will be helpful to me as a parent too. So thank you very much. And thank you to my colleagues. I think this shows when we really work as a board and focus on policy that we can really do amazing things for our kids. So I'm eager to vote for this.
Okay, now we are definitely ready, so I will be calling for the vote. The motion before us is on the screen. All those in favor? Ms. Corbett-Sanders, Mr. Frisch, Ms. Somesh, Ms. McLaughlin, Ms. Cohen, Dr. Anderson, Ms. Sizemore-Heiser, Ms. Keys-Gamarra, Ms. Tolan, Ms. Sternak-Koufax, Ms. Marin, and myself. That vote is unanimous. The motion passes. Thank you so much.